Dow drops 180 points as traders try to assess impact of Russia-Ukraine war. Stocks declined on Tuesday following the S&P 500's worst day since October 2020 as investors continue to access geopolitical tensions between Russia and Ukraine and high commodity prices. The Dow Jones Industrial Average dropped 184.74 points to 32.64. Haven't seen that number in a while. After being up 585 points earlier in the session. Whew. The Dow fell deeper into correction territory. The S&P 500 fell 0.7% to 4170.70, also dropping further into a technical correction. The Nasdaq Composite slid 0.3% to 12,795.55, falling deeper into bear market territory. The small cap benchmark Russell 2000 bucked the market trend and rose 0.6% on Tuesday, which was surprising to me. Investors continue to grapple with surging commodity prices and slower economic growth stemming from Russia's invasion of Ukraine, rising prices for oil, gasoline, natural gas, and precious metals like nickel and palladium are fueling concerns about a slowdown in global growth amid surging inflation. The gas companies like Chevron and Shell, BP, all of those are thriving right now. They're at all-time highs. Like I said earlier, the Russia-Ukraine conflict, commodity price spikes, inflation concerns, and a very uncertain Fed outlook have caused recession fears to rapidly intensify and equity markets to sell off sharply, said Chris from Wolfe Research, chief investment strategist. WTI crude oil jumped as much as 7% to above $128 a barrel on Tuesday as President Joe Biden said the U.S. will ban Russian oil imports. Oil spiked to start the week, hitting a 13-year high of $130. U.S. oil futures settled up 3.6% at $123.70. The energy sector was a bright spot on Tuesday amid surging oil prices. Shares of Chevron rose 5.2%. Plus, solar and other clean energy stocks moved higher as the continued rise in oil prices shifted focus toward alternative energy sources. Enphase Energy and SunPower added 10.8% and 18.7% respectively. So the energy space is also doing well. The clean energy, green energy sector. Airlines and cruise lines also advanced. Delta Airlines rose 3.7% and American Airlines popped 5.2%. Southwest and United Airlines were up 5.3% and 3.3% respectively. The Norwegian Cruise Line also rose nearly 3.8%. Tuesday's bounce was a small victory that the low may be in, but it may have to be tested again either later today or later this week, said Jim Paulson, chief investment strategist for the international benchmark. Brent crude reached a high of 139.13 at one point overnight. Okay. The jump in crude is already starting to hit consumers' wallets. The national average for a gallon of regular gas rose to $4.17 on Tuesday, according to the AAA. The prior record was $4.11 from July of 2008, not adjusted for inflation. Other commodity prices also resumed their push higher. Nickel prices on Tuesday briefly touched a new record above $100,000 a metric ton. Perhaps there's some relief that only the U.S. is cutting off Russian oil or gas right away while the UK and EU implement their plans over the course of several quarters In addition, while the consensus narrative of Russia-Ukraine is quite gloomy, the ingredients for a ceasefire are falling into place, said Adam, founder of Vital Knowledge. Treasury yields also were sharply higher, with the benchmark 10-year note up close to 10 basis points to about 1.85% as investors shed bonds as inflation fears escalate. Yields move opposite price. The market action came after a steep sell-off on Wall Street, where the S&P 500 dropped nearly 3% for its worst day since October 2020. The blue chip Dow tumbled almost 800 points for its fifth negative session in 6, while the Nasdaq Composite, which contains many of the market's biggest tech names, slid 3.6%, falling into bear market territory, down 20% from its record high from November. Investors continue to monitor developments of escalated geopolitical tensions. Ukraine said Moscow is seeking to manipulate its ceasefire arrangement by only allowing Ukrainian civilians to evacuate to Russia and Belarus. Shell apologized for buying cheap Russian oil and said it was divesting itself of all hydrocarbon holdings in the country. Russia itself warned that crude oil prices could hit $300 a barrel should Western countries enact a ban on exports. Shell shares popped 2.6% on Tuesday.